A fire broke out at the Russian oil refinery Taneco in Tatarstan in the city of Nizhnekamsk after Ukrainian drone attack, according to Russian telegram channels. The Baza channel says preliminary information indicates that one of the refinery's columns is burning. An air raid alarm is also sounding. Witnesses report that employees are currently being evacuated from the refinery. No official details about the fire have been released yet.
In Tatarstan, the Russian oil refinery Taneco is on fire. Police, according to local media, due to a drone attack, employees are currently being evacuated from the plant's premises. Meanwhile, the airport of Nizhnekamsk has implemented the killing plan due to the threat of drone attacks.
Meanwhile, a drone attack alert has been issued in Tatarstan. The Ministry of Emergency Situations sent relevant warnings to locals, urging them to stay indoors and avoid approaching windows. The carpet plan has been activated at Nizhnekamsk airport, presumably due to the threat of a UAV attack, Baza added. In 2022, the Taneco refinery ranked 5th among Russia's largest oil refining enterprises. Unknown drones attacked several regions of Russia last night. Sounds of air defense systems targeting UAVs were heard in the Voronezh, Kursk, Saratov, and Lipetsk regions, as well as in Krasnodar Krai. According to one eyewitness, a drone struck a port in Novorossiysk. The units of the 3rd Separate Assault Brigade destroyed 20 units of armored vehicles of the 4th Tank Division of Russia. A video of the destruction of Russian equipment was published by the brigade's press service. The destruction of the Russian Tank Division's equipment took place from January 8th to 9th, 2025, when the enemy attempted to attack the positions of the 3rd Separate Assault Brigade in the Kharkiv region. Due to the high-quality preparation for repelling the assault, the enemy's vehicles were hit by an anti-tank complex before they even approached the brigade's positions. After the vehicles left the road, they began to explode on pre-installed mines, which significantly delayed the advance of the armored vehicles and allowed FPV drone operators to begin destroying the remains of the vehicles. During the first assault attempt, the enemy was forced to retreat to regroup and reinforce. A second attempt at the assault was made by an armored group from 4 directions, with a similar outcome. First, the vehicles were hit by an anti-tank missile, followed by the destruction of the vehicles using FPV drones, artillery, mortars, and other weapons. Earlier, Militarny reported that the assault units of the 3rd Separate Assault Brigade had cleared a forest belt and captured a group of Russians in the Kharkiv region. The assault involved 2 tanks and 2 M113 armored personnel carriers with the soldiers of the 1st Assault Battalion who disembarked near enemy positions with the support of the tanks. In addition, in mid-December 2024, Russian troops made an unsuccessful attempt to expand their bridgehead on the left bank of the Oskil River in the Kupiansk direction under the cover of rain and fog. The attack was repelled by the soldiers of the Achilles Battalion, the 1st Operational Brigade of the National Guard Burevi, and the 205th Battalion of the Territorial Defense Forces of the 241st Territorial Defense Forces Brigade. Let's continue with some interesting military and defense news from around the world. The United States wants to get the underground Norwegian naval base Olavsvern under its control. It was reported by the War Zone. The Olavsvern base is a unique military facility located between the Norwegian and Barents Seas, with much of its infrastructure located inside the cliffs. After closing in 2009, the base was put up for rent, but in 2021, its operation was partially resumed in the interests of the Netherlands. It is reported that, contrary to expectations, the base had not been fully operational. According to the publication, the most recent American submarine to visit the base was in 2009. A U.S. Navy source who wished to remain anonymous stated that the country intended to resume operation of the base. However, how long it will take the U.S. Navy to resume the base's operation and what modernizations will be needed to service nuclear submarines remains unknown. Due to their size, modern American nuclear submarines cannot enter the base's tunnels, but the outer berths are fully suitable for their use. It remains to be seen how the U.S. Navy plans to operate the base. However, it is equipped with all the necessary infrastructure to accommodate personnel, warehouses, and ship maintenance facilities. The U.S. Navy's growing interest in this facility is due to Russia's increased activity in the Arctic. TWZ reports that the officials of the U.S. 6th Fleet continue to work with Oslo to explore the possibility of using the base in their interests. Currently, Olavsvern is owned by the military logistics company Wilnor Governmental Services and is mostly used for the annual winter exercises of the Dutch Marines. Wilnor has ambitious plans to restore the base's status as an important logistics center and submarine basing site, as it was during the Cold War. However, the Norwegian government has not yet granted the appropriate authorization. In 2023, representatives of the American government visited the city of Tromsø, which is next door to the base, and American submarines docked at the nearby port of Grotsund. The future of the Olavsvern base remains uncertain, but given the tense situation in the region, it is possible that it will once again become a submarine base. The Australian Department of Defense has begun recruiting foreigners to serve in the Australian Defence Force due to a shortage of personnel. It is expected that hundreds of foreigners will be recruited to serve in the Australian Defence Force and help solve the problem of staff shortages both in the infantry and among the pilots of modern F-35 and missile destroyers. Starting January 1st, 2025, Americans, British, and Canadians will be able to enlist in the Defence Force, provided they have lived in Australia for 12 months and have not served in a foreign army in the past 2 years. Along with enlistment, a person must submit a package of documents to obtain Australian citizenship in the future. According to the Department of Defense, this will allow them to increase the number of active servicemen and women and attract people from prosperous countries. At the same time, Defense Personnel Minister Matt Keogh stated that about 350 people from the Five Eyes Alliance countries are expected to join the force this fiscal year. As the Australian Department of Defense recently reported, the Defence Force is unable to find an additional 4,000 soldiers, prompting it to recruit foreigners. Joe Biden, there's a real chance Ukraine can win. The cost of war for Russia is staggering. Over 600,000 dead and wounded soldiers. North Korean troops brought to the front by Russia are also facing high mortality rates, he added.
I had a long talk with Zelensky today. And I think that as long as we continue to keep Western Europe united as it relates to Ukraine, that there is a real chance that the Ukrainians can prevail, because the cost to Russia is incredibly high. Over 600-some thousand dead or wounded. The Koreans they brought in is having high mortality rates as well. And I made it clear that I provided every bit of funding that authority I have as president to be able to do that now. And I know that there are a significant number of Democrats and Republicans on the Hill who think we should continue to support you.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.